You won't hear my name here, not because I'm hiding, but because this space isn't about who I am. It's about you, your breath, your thoughts, the moments you wish you could just sit still and feel. Finding Stillness is a quiet space for anyone who needs it. A place to pause, reflect, or just listen. No pressure to speak, no need to be anything other than what you are right now. Take a seat, you're safe here. Hi and welcome back to Finding Stillness. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. It's more personal, it's slower, softer, and maybe a little bit more vulnerable than usual. This is a letter I've never sent to someone who shaped me, someone who, without even knowing, carved their presence into my story. It can be a friend, a stranger, a parent, a version of myself. We all have them, those unsent letters we carry silently in our hearts. Words left unsaid, emotions still humming beneath the surface. This letter isn't meant to stir resentment or reopen wounds. It's meant to release what's still sitting quietly inside of me, to give shape to something shapeless, to speak softly into silence. Maybe as I read, you'll think of your own letter. Maybe you'll remember a moment where you wished you had spoken up. Or maybe you'll simply sit with me in this space and let the stillness hold us both. So let's begin. Take a deep breath and listen in. Dear you, there are things I wish I said, words I swallowed because I didn't think I was allowed to say them, because I didn't want to burden you, because I didn't think that they would matter, but they do, and they did. You didn't know, but I looked up to you. The way you moved through the world like everything would eventually be okay. I believed if I stayed close to you, maybe I would feel okay too. But there were days when I felt invisible around you, when I questioned whether I was too much, too quiet, too intense, too emotional, and too sensitive. I laughed at things that didn't feel funny, and I nodded when I disagreed. I became small so you would stay, and still you left. Not dramatically, just slowly, in pieces, and I carried that absence like it was my fault. Like if I had been easier to love, you would have stayed. But now, with distance, I see things differently. You weren't meant to stay, and I wasn't meant to disappear. This letter isn't about blame, it's about truth, about finally saying what I needed to say for me. I forgive you, I forgive myself, and I let go of the version of me that needed your approval to feel whole. Thank you for what you gave me, even the silence, even the leaving. You were part of my becoming, but you're not the whole story. I released the stories I told myself about that time. I released the need to rewrite, or fix it, or wish it had gone any other way. I understand now that healing doesn't come from changing the past. It comes from changing how I hold it. So this letter is my way of placing the memory down, with care, with softness, with the respect it deserves, but without carrying the weight anymore. Sincerely, me. Reading that letter out loud was like gently cracking open a sealed part of myself. As the words left my mouth, I realized how long they had been sitting inside of me. Unspoken, but yet heavy. There is a kind of stillness that settles in when you finally speak the unsaid. Not in a dramatic way or a loud way, just a soft exhale that you didn't know you were holding. It reminded me of how often we carry pain in silence. Not because we can't speak, but because we're not sure what will happen if we did. We fear that the act of voicing our truth might make it more real, or it will open up wounds that we are not ready to look at. But I've learned that the act of speaking, of writing, of sharing, doesn't necessarily deepen the wound. It softens it. This letter helped me face parts of myself that I had tried to ignore and push to the back of my head. The parts that still held blame. The parts that still wondered if I was the problem. And in writing to someone else, I discovered something unexpected. I was actually writing to myself, giving myself the permission to feel everything I had pushed down, to validate the experience, to say, you weren't crazy or dramatic or needy, you were just human. Sometimes closure doesn't come from other people. Sometimes the apology you need you will never have. And that has to be okay. Because waiting for someone else to bring you your peace puts healing in their hands. And that isn't where it belongs. The letter reminded me that I can create peace for myself. I can speak into the silence and find softness. Even without a response, the words have power. Even without an ending, the story can feel complete. And maybe, just maybe, this episode is part of that closure. Not too loud, not final. It just being enough and honest. So now, I want to gently ask you, is there something you haven't said yet? Is there a letter you've carried quietly, maybe for years? Who would you write it to? Someone who left without warning? Someone who stayed but never really saw you? Or maybe to a version of you that needed love, never really got it? This isn't about confrontation. This isn't about outcomes. It's about release. The act of writing a letter you never send can be healing. It gives you the space to say what your heart has been holding, without fear of reaction. It gives shape to your experience. It allows you to be honest with yourself, fully, without the pressure to be understood by someone else. It feels safe. Take this time to write your own letter. Start with Dear You and see what comes to mind. Let it flow without judgment. Don't worry about making it sound beautiful. Let it be messy. Let it be real. You don't have to share it. You don't have to read it out loud. But you can place it somewhere meaningful, or burn it, or bury it, or simply fold it up and keep it close for a while. And if writing feels too big right now, just sit with the idea. Let the stillness hold the words for you until you're ready. Because even silence can speak. Even unsent letters can heal. You deserve that kind of release. You deserve that kind of peace. Sometimes We try to write our truths. The words get stuck. We sit with a blank page and feel everything at once, but nothing clear enough to say. And you have to know that is okay. Not everything has a perfect sentence. Not every memory is ready to be held in words. If you find yourself struggling to express the letter you never sent, give yourself the grace. Healing isn't linear, and expression doesn't always look polished or poetic. You can begin slowly. You can start with sentences like, "I needed more," "I missed you," "I never got the chance to say this." Sometimes that's all it takes to open that door. And if the door doesn't open yet, that's okay too. You can sit beside it. You can hold the intention until the words find you. Trusting your timing. There is no deadline on grief, no deadline on forgiveness, no timeline for telling the truth to yourself. Let your body guide you. Let your breath slow you down. And remember, stillness is not a lack of movement. It's a presence, a choosing. You are choosing to be with yourself, to listen, to return. And that's okay, and that's enough. Even in the silence you are healing. Even without the letter written, the intention is working. Your heart knows what it needs. You do not have to rush it. One of the most freeing things about a letter you never send is there is no expectation of a reply. No pressure to be understood, no need for validation, no hoping for a specific reaction or an explanation. You get to speak, and that's enough. You can let go of the performance. You can write honestly, without censoring for someone else's comfort, without softening your edge to keep the peace, without watering down your experience to avoid the discomfort. And in that space, something powerful happens. You can find your own voice again. You write not to be heard, but to hear yourself. You get to tell the truth in your own words, not the version that protects everyone else, but the version that protects your truth. You name the pain, the disappointment, the gratitude, the longing and the anger. You honor what was without needing to be anything more than what it is. Letting go of the need for a response is like releasing a tight grip on something you've been carrying for way too long. It's not giving up, it's making space. Space for your healing, space for your peace, space for you. Closure doesn't always come from conversation. Sometimes it comes from the courage to tell the truth, even if it's only to yourself, especially if it's only to yourself. This letter, this moment, this practice, it's about sovereignty. It's about reclaiming the parts of yourself that you gave away. It's about coming back to the center, coming back to stillness, and maybe letting the story settle in a new way. Not forgotten, not erased, but held gently with love and with truth, as well as release. Thank you for being here today, for listening to a letter I've never sent, for witnessing a piece of me I don't always share. Whatever you're carrying, whatever you're feeling, I hope this space reminded you that you are not alone. I want you to know that. Take care of yourself. Drink something warm. Rest if you need to. Be gentle with your heart. You don't have to rush back into the noise. Take your time. Breathe. Be soft with yourself. And I'll be here whenever you're ready to return. Until then, stay gentle and stay honest.